Good afternoon. So glad we were able to meet today. My name is Casey, but before we get started for the rest, well, before we get to the rest of the session today, I want to cover some questions with you. So what name would you prefer to be called?
Please fine.
Okay. Okay, Holly. Today I want to spend some time getting to know you. It seems like it seems like I'm going to ask a lot of questions, but it's a chance for me to get it's a chance for me to ask you some things to understand you more so that I can be the most helpful. Sound okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. If there's anything that does not apply to you, or that you don't want to answer at this point, feel free to tell me. And if you remember something later that you want to share with me about these topics, you can always let me know in the future session. So what city do you live in, and how long have you lived there?
I'm in Milford, Michigan, and I've lived here for 15 years.
Okay. What language are you most comfortable using in the in therapy sessions?
English.
Okay. Um, um, so, what is your age?
I'm 25.
Right. Are there any developmental challenges you've experienced?
No, I haven't had any developmental challenges.
Okay. Um, are there any religious or spiritual practices that would be important for me to know?
No, not really. I don't. My family's like non-denominational Christian, and they sometimes go to church, but I don't.
Okay. So, how would you identify your gender and sexual orientation, and what, if anything, is most important to you uh, that you would want me to know?
I'm a female. I'm a woman, and I'm straight, I guess.
Okay. Uh, are there any physical characteristics that impact your daily life?
Yeah, I have a chronic inflammatory condition. It's like I have to get infusions every couple months to help with my arthritis.
Okay. Wow. Um, how would you describe yourself ethnically within your family? And Yeah, yeah. How would you describe yourself ethnically within your family?
Well, my family's kind of like mixed on my mom's side. I shouldn't, I don't know if I say mixed, but like they're from Ireland, and then my dad's family is very Polish. Um, but I think we've kind of like acculturated in the last three generations. So I'm just like a patriotic white American.
Okay. Um, so so regarding the family members that you listed, um, who do you live with, and who do you consider to be family, and what role do they play in your life?
Well, I have a best friend who I'm like really close with, and she's honestly the person that I'm closest with the most. But she's currently like doing an internship in Texas, so I can't be with her right now.
Hmm.
Um, and she's been my friend my whole life, so she's like my sister. And right now I'm living with my parents because despite the amount of degrees and certifications I have, I my position was eliminated at my most recent job, so financially it made more sense for me to move home.
Okay, thanks for that. Um, would there be any other life events that would be important for me to know?
I can't think of like like a one single event. But I will say that I have a lot of resentment with my parents
Hmm,
for like constant beratement. I feel like I'm never good enough.
okay. And so you kind of disclosed a little bit about, some of the economic stress that you've kind of been experiencing. So obviously it's caused you to have to move back home. And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being no issue to 10 being extremely difficult, how would you typically how do you typically handle situations when you feel completely overwhelmed?
I'd say I'd say a 7. I was pretty
7.
confident in my ability to respond before this happened, and now I feel like I'm questioning myself.
Hmm, I see. Okay. Um, well, thanks for all that. I'm done with the preamble here and kind of getting to know you. But if there's anything else that comes to mind that you think I should know, please, I'm all ears. So
To be
so
honest, like I don't know if you're gonna be the counselor for me. Like you're an older guy and you obviously don't live with your parents and you seem like you haven't had these setbacks and I just don't know if you're gonna be able to understand what I'm going through as a woman.
yeah, no, you're right. We are very different. Uh, we probably have even some different upbringings, different backgrounds that I'm not even fully aware of. I don't know exactly every life event that you've experienced and how you've experienced it, and likely you don't know every life experience that I've had either. So um, these differences are real and they're valid. And your concerns are valid. Um, but I want to express to you that um, I, if you're willing, I'm open to learning and to trying to understand. I'm I want to be a student of your life. I want to be uh, I want to learn it the best I can. And I want to tell you that there are going to be things that I won't ever be able to understand. Um, there are going to be things that are going to be very confusing to me. And maybe there's some things that I will understand, but I'm going to do my best to empathize and sympathize to the best of my ability.
Willing to like I'm willing to give this a chance. I'm willing to ride this out. I feel like sometimes I'm just gonna have to like over explain myself and the thought of that is like exhausting when I'm already here because I'm frustrated.
No, yeah, these differences seem very stressful, and my goal is not to stress you out. My goal is to make this um, an experience that is uplifting and empowering. Um, So and if at any point, you don't think that this is working out because of our differences, you have the power to call it quits. You have the power to walk out. You have the power to you are in control of this session. I am here as a mirror and as a protector and as somebody who will hopefully be able to hear you and your concerns.
And that's really what I need is I need someone to understand where I'm coming from.
So if you're comfortable and if you'd like to continue or proceed, with these differences and um and this dissonance, um, what 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 does bring you here today?
I kind of mentioned earlier, but I I I went to school for the last 6, 7 years and I've got a master's degree. Um and in nursing. And unfortunately, in the area that I'm in, there's been a lot of layoffs recently. And because I was the new graduate and I didn't have any like sort of longevity at their facility, I'm the one that was terminated. And I have this degree, have this education, I do have experience in multiple subspecialties, and here I am. And because of all of my student loans, now I'm in a position where like I can't afford a down payment on a house, and I would rather reserve the money that I would use as a deposit and save that for a down payment. So like now I'm like living back with my parents again. And it's one thing to like have the safety of moving back into my parents' house. And I'm grateful for that. And I don't ever want to seem ungrateful for that. But they're treating me like a child again. And they're even so going so far as to give me like a curfew. And it's just so feels so mm,
It feels to me like you're being very,
patronizing isn't the right word, but it's like so condescending.
yeah, and limiting,
Yeah.
and it feels like you're losing autonomy and maybe some choice in your life, and almost infantilizing, where it's like
It's a great word.
bringing you back developmentally, if you will, and you're a fully capable adult right now. So I just want to. There was a lot to unpack there, so just going to take a second though to kind of think through that, if that's all right with you. So yeah, so here's what I heard, and here's what I think I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not always right. There are things I misread and misunderstand. So, um, I mean, you're very well read. You've graduated college with a master's degree in nursing. You have some subspecialties that you've specialized in, but you're recently let go. You were let go because maybe there was a lack of experience, and there were other people there that were able to stay because of some longevity, because of maybe experience that they had that you may not have had, or but you're a very capable and knowledgeable individual. Obviously, you've proven that with the degree that you've gotten. But this loss of your employment, you had to move back in with your parents, and it's drummed up a lot of feelings, and it's those are, I would say, pretty well normal feelings to have with all of this happening. It's a lot of stress.
It feels like I paved my way 10 steps forward and I took 12 back. And now I'm like being punished because of that. When I did everything right that was within my control. And that was like taken from me. And now, like, that's not even a consideration. Now I'm just a child again.
Yeah, you've forged your own way. You've done everything that you were supposed to do, according to how society kind of imposes things upon us. Jumped through all the right hoops, and here you are back at square one, it seems. I mean, yeah, you have some money saved up, but now you might even have to use it on things that you did not want to use it on. And that it seems like it seems very vulnerable to be in that state.
It's even more frustrating because there's like parts of the termination that I haven't talked to my parents about because I don't think they'll care because they just see me as a kid that like needs to get it out of their house and get a job. But the it's like when we were going through the termination process at the hospital and they were selecting who they were going to keep on and who they were going to keep off, we thought it was going to be like more merit based and performance based because we all have quarterly and annual reviews. Mine were exceptional, and it turns out that there was like some people who were selected to stay who come from different ethnic backgrounds than me who had more poor performance reviews.
Hmm.
And that was like really frustrating for me because I feel like I'm already at a disadvantage as a woman. And because in the hospital that I was interning at was in a primarily like religious community. And so like because I didn't fit into the mold that everybody else fit into, it was easy for them to just get rid of me despite the fact that I was an overperformer. So it's like they didn't want to keep me because I am young, I'm a woman, I'm white, and I don't go to the same church that they go to.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, because here you are, you're thinking that, the process of downsizing is going to be merit based, and then come to find out there might be other things that they were considering, and it was probably shocking. It was
It
probably
was
very very surprising, and you know you probably felt even a little betrayed.
absolutely, I did feel betrayed, and even more so by my parents because I want to talk to them about these things because there is a part of me that knows that I'm like safe here at home and that I can always come home anytime that I have these problems, like these little setbacks in life. But my dad is the one who like has like no intolerance for this. So no matter what I tell him what happens, no matter how hard I've worked, it will always be my fault. And I'm pretty sure that he's the one that's like imposing this curfew on me at 25. And he's the one that is also in the same breath like nagging me to be job searching every single day all day long, which I was already doing anyway. But it's just the constant like degradation. It's never enough. I did everything I was supposed to do, and I'm still right back here being told that I'm not doing enough, that it wasn't good enough, that it was my fault, that it was like it's just like I'm so worried. And on top of it, like I had such a hard time getting an internship in the position that I wanted anyway because it was a male-dominated field. So like I did an internship with the UN, and the UNICEF program has travel nurses, and so I ended up going overseas and doing this travel nurse program. And I was the only woman that was there for a really long time. It was like 8 months before they got another intern. And so like, but that achievement was still not something that my dad even cared about. And if I go to him and I tell him the complaints that I have about how I feel like I'm being discriminated against, about how I feel like I'm being overlooked and treated like a child, and like I'm not just some weak woman, like he's just gonna dismiss it. He's gonna dismiss all of it. He doesn't care.
Wow. Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't seem right to me, because we want our parents to be there to comfort us, and to be there to love us, and especially in our most vulnerable times. Um, what let me is it all right if I ask you, what are some of the what are some of the things you have in common with your dad, and what are some of the things that you guys kind of share together, and kind of can talk about outside of accolades, and performance?
It's a really good question because the big elephant in the room right now is me. So
Mm,
finding common ground with him could be helpful in not digging our relationship into any further of a hole. And maybe it could be something I could use to like get out of having a curfew like a child, but
Mm,
We share a work ethic. I think
yeah.
I only have the work ethic I do because I grew up watching him be persistent and dedicated and disciplined.
Yep.
And like as far as like some similarities in the things that we both like to go bike riding,
Mm,
um, and hiking. A lot of outdoor stuff, I guess. I've always enjoyed outdoor stuff with my dad.
yeah. Interesting. So you guys have some things in common, and I mean the work ethic. Sounds like you guys like the outdoors and bike riding. Maybe not together, um, but I guess one of the reasons why I'm asking you these things is that um, this sudden change. Obviously it's a lot for you, right? Because you're experiencing like the economic impacts of joblessness, um, and financial insecurity, and then like the question of like your own merit, in being able to perform at work, and maybe even thinking that it wasn't enough. But then you have your father on the other hand, where you know I hate to leave him out of this equation into like how he might be thinking about things, because I kind of want to get inside of his head of like how he might be, perceiving things of like, you know, maybe he's just as surprised, shocked, and uh, in this realm of fight or flight too, where it's shutting down his ability to kind of empathize, and he wants you to just snap right back. Um, but I don't know your father that well. You know him way better than I do. And maybe you do know a little bit more about some of the alternatives of like what he may be thinking.
It might be worth a conversation with him about it. I'm just like so scared to have it because I just don't want to hear more about how behind I am now.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that that might happen. But I know I can talk to him. I'm just like so superficially annoyed at
Hmm.
how controlling they are. Because I think the other part of it is having the debt that I have from my student loans. Those due dates aren't stopping, and I have asked them for help. And part of me feels like they're using control over my independence and schedule as like retaliation for asking for their help.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, I can see the correlations there. I can see why you might think that, and maybe that is the case, maybe they're always going to see you as their daughter too. And maybe they're always going to see you as their little girl who needs protecting, and or they want you to just be independent, and maybe they think that this is one of those tools that guides you back into that independence. I don't exactly know, um but either way it's not comfortable because you're an adult. You're fully capable, and you've proven that capability.
I can definitely see how like my comings and goings could also affect their safe space as well.
Mm,
And but it's not like I'm out partying until 2 in the morning. I spend some time with a couple of the friends that I have here. Most of the day I just do all the job searching and whatnot. But
right.
I feel like there's a few things that are just like unresolved with
Mhm.
my dad that probably needs to be discussed. And I see them coming out more now that I've left home and I've come back.
Yeah.
And I think part of me is also like really defensive because I don't want to be seen as a failure for something that was out of my control.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, let me think about that, because we talked a little bit about uh, what what do these, we talked a little bit about what these conversations look like, that you're having currently because it's about the present moment, right? Um, but a lot of what our present moment is influenced by a lot of what has happened in the past, and it's not necessarily only just what has happened in the recent past too. So you could be onto something.
So I don't really know how to go about having the conversation with him.
Hmm.
I'm just so worried. I can't be seen as a failure when I've come this far. I
Right.
can't. And I don't know how to tolerate somebody else seeing me as a failure.
Yeah. Yeah, this theme, is very consistent with you and your father. Is how you guys measure success, and um, seems
Yeah.
very central to who you are, and um, it's it's driving you to make a lot of these decisions, and um, and how you act in the world and perceive your reality.
Yeah. Every day that I don't find a new job or get a call back or something, that like is a tick against it.
Mm,
It's like a little measure of failure right there.
yeah.
And it just reinforces all of these things that I have in my head about whether or not I'm like gonna make it out of this phase.
Yeah, or feelings of adequacy, like
Yep.
are you enough, or, like by just existing, or just being alive, or it seems like a lot of, your self-worth may be tied in with, you know, how you can contribute to, maybe the economy, or how you fit within the economy, or um, even just classical American um, financial success. But I want to encourage you that um, you're enough, regardless of what you can do and where you're employed at. Um, you're you're a capable and strong, smart, independent woman, and you've proven that time and again. Because society at this time, I mean, it doesn't necessarily favor women in the workplace in the ways that would be otherwise supportive. All of our, institutions have been male dominated for a very long time. So for you to have this uphill battle and win it in any, because you did, you got employed at a awesome place to work. You got an incredible degree. You've done a lot already.
I didn't think that you'd be able to see me that way, so I really appreciate you saying that because not a lot of people recognize how difficult it is for women to work their way up and to be multiple identities. Like, not a lot of people recognize how difficult it is for a woman to make it in a corporate world and like the
Mhm.
medical field. And I appreciate you saying that because I definitely thought that in the beginning that that would be something that'd make you uncomfortable.
I, I I'm obviously I'm not a woman. I don't know exactly what that struggle is like, but I know that historically, society has not been very supportive of a woman's identity and what they're capable of, because women are capable of much more than what has been assumed of them for basically all of human history. Um, it's been very unfair, and it's I've seen some progress, but obviously there's great room for growth. And but it sounds to me like your dad is similar in my perspective of that, like you're capable, that maybe he deep down, that the reason why he's so upset like I said, I could be wrong, and I'm just speculating here, but that he knows that you're capable, and he knows um, that you're worth more than what they've done to you. And maybe he just can't see, you know, why or how this could have happened to you.
I am worth more than what they did to me, and I really wish that they would treat me that way at home. So
Yeah.
I think I'll probably have to have a conversation with them about it, and I might like write it down and or like at least how I'm feeling and bring it up in our next session because it's gonna be rough and uncomfortable.
Yeah, and if you would like any tips on kind of how to broach this and kind of lead him into less of a defensive state, because you know um this can be a very confrontational time um with him, and him fighting for his freedom and the his household, because it's almost like you're moving it back into the hierarchical structure of him, having all the say, and it's going to be very difficult to kind of lead into that conversation. But if you would want any tips, I'm open to any sort of things that I might be able to help you with. I can either send you some information, or we can talk through it. We can even role play. Um, and we can find a way forward for you to balance not only your autonomy, but their comfort and confidence in you to regain whatever it is that they think makes you a successful individual, or gain a deeper perspective of your worth as an individual, and that this isn't the end of life for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think if I approach it and it like doesn't go anywhere, I might bring that up in our next session then and look for a better way to navigate that.
No, I think that's smart. You know them best, right? So you might be able to just like work through it right now, it just having the slight encouragement that you might have right now in order to initiate the conversation, because who knows, maybe he's wanting to have this conversation, but he just doesn't know how to start it. And maybe whatever way you do it, maybe he'll be receptive. And
Right.
but it looks like our time's coming to a conclusion, though. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about before we leave today, or remind me that I've forgotten, or um, anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's like my primary complaint.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Holly, for being with me today, and you were very brave to come in and speak about this.
Thank you. I'll see you next week.